And welcome back to Atreyu News. Now that's a mug you're never gonna miss. Hillary releases Snapchat video, "Stand Up and Resist." Ugh, God. Wish she'd just go away. Just hibernate. Go somewhere and get the hell out of our face. The Democrats don't even want her. She's trying to run for mayor of New York and they're all telling her, please don't do it. It's a train wreck. Take a listen here. Ugh.
There's a lot to fight for. Planned Parenthood, education, healthcare, jobs. Every issue is a woman's issue. So stand up, resist, run for office, be a champion. There's a lot to fight for. Planned Parenthood, education, healthcare, jobs. Every issue is a woman's issue. So stand up, resist, run for office, be a champion.
She's acting like she's still running for office. She's just got that creepy vibe to her. Nothing against women, however, all this Women's Day and Women's March seems like it's going on like every 7 or 8 days. I think I want like a Man's Day. That'd be pretty cool. I bet a lot of men would rally behind me too. I mean, we're highly relied upon. And from what I could tell, we're not very appreciated. Perhaps we'll have our own day. A day without men. No electricity, no nuclear power, no nothing. Watch the entire country come to a halt. But I know we as men, we won't do that because we're better than it. We don't really need people to say, oh, you're great, you're this, you're that, because deep down inside, winners already know. We already know what we are. Speaker Ryan takes questions about the American Health Care Act. Takes questions about the American Health Care Act, Part 1. You know, I don't trust this piece of garbage. I'll never forget what he did to Trump during the primaries. However, he is a talking head. Let's take a listen.
Chad.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You say this is a binary choice. A two-part question here. Why would somebody not believe this is take it or leave it when you hear from members of the Freedom Caucus of conservatives say take your bill or change it? And number two, when the Democrats approved cap and trade in the summer of 2009, there was much criticism of a manager's amendment, which was put in at the end, to make that bill ripe for passage on the floor. When we hear these criticisms from Republicans, why would we expect something like that not to emerge in this case to make that bill okay to pass and get their votes?
So I would answer it in this way. What people are talking about, and there's a lot of frustration, a lot of confusion, frankly, out there among conservative groups and even among members, is reconciliation has certain limits. So there are folks who would love to see us put in this reconciliation bill all these other ideas. One conservative group is saying, by golly, you better put shopping across state lines in this bill or else we're not going to support it. Guess what, Chad? If we did that, we wouldn't be able to pass this bill. It would be filibustered in the Senate. It wouldn't even come up for a vote. So the last thing we want to do is prevent our ability to actually get law made. So it really is a conversation about the third prong approach. The other bills we're going to pass outside of reconciliation, which in the House, we're a majority body, we can pass, that go to the Senate. So much of the conversations are about moving this other agenda on the same track around the same time to get these things done. The last point is, as you know the process, but a lot of people don't, we're going through 4 different committees. That's how legislation works through regular order. We just did the Ways and Means Committee last night. We're in the middle of the Commerce Committee. Next week it goes to the Budget Committee, and then it goes to the Rules Committee before it goes to the House floor. The bill will be out there for 3 weeks to be looked at. Go to readthebill.gop. It's a 123-page bill. It's not 2,000 pages of something that they just whipped together and flipped to the floor like they did. We didn't write it in Harry Reid's office on Christmas Eve. This was written by our committees. And let's back up a second even further. This bill has been worked on for a year. This bill was worked on from January to June last year so that we could offer our constituents and the American people in our Better Way agenda what we would replace Obamacare with. We offered it up in June. We ran on it all through the election, and now we've translated it into legislation. And even backing up further, these 2 key components, block granting Medicaid back to the states, defederalizing an entitlement, putting a cap on it, that is something that conservatives have been talking about and dreaming about for decades. In repealing another entitlement, Obamacare, its mandates, its subsidies, its taxes, and replacing it with Republican free market healthcare tax policy. If you told me 10 years ago this is where we would be, I'd think I'd be in a dream. I'd be doing backflips. To conservatives who've been fighting for healthcare reform, this is so exciting. And so what's happening now is members realize this is the chance, this is the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So naturally in the legislative process, people are saying, well, I'd love to have this in there, I'd love to have that in there. That's the legislative process. That's what we're going through. And what people are sort of learning is this reconciliation tool is pretty tight. There's a lot of stuff we would love to put in the bill, but unfortunately the Senate rules don't allow us to do that.
It's happening. Democrats just made their push, and look who is behind it all. No surprise there. I know there's ties of George Soros behind Black Lives Matter and Antifa, and the list goes on and on. It appears almost every organized protest is being funded by this man here. How this guy is allowed to walk the earth and do as he pleases is still beyond me. It is really hard to contemplate. And why isn't there violent threats against him? Not that I would condone such a thing. However, no one ever says shit about this guy. And people quickly forget that George Soros is a Jewish man who actually turned in other Jews in Nazi Germany. He helped the Germans do that. That's right. This guy here. Satan reincarnated. The left want to say Trump is this and Trump is that. You know what? If there ever was a demon in human skin, this is him. And judging on how he looks, it's a believable scenario.